Thank you for coming to watch Dr. Smith's video today. We encourage you to hit the subscribe button and the alert button. That way you can get notifications when he uploads a new video. Thank you for coming today.
So we hope you take the time to hear and think about, and if you have a book, read in the book about the concept and the topics that we talk about. They have a lasting effect. The intent is not necessarily to treat pain, but to make permanent, long-term correction with your whole family and your friends.
Thank you. Make sure you subscribe and hit the alert button. Have a good day.
Have a good day. Okay, today we have two topics. One, nutritional supplementation. Number two, colon health. We're going to talk about nutritional supplementation first because it's directly related to problems that develop later in the bowel, in the colon. So, Dr. Joe Nicholas, a pediatrician from New York, got tired of having his patients die when he would give them the shots that are medically recommended for infants. They would die with anaphylactic shock. That's where the baby gets a chemical injection. Within 24 hours, they're dead because the body can't tolerate that. So the first few years of his practice, he lost a few patients, and then more and more and more and more. And finally he he didn't like going home and telling his wife, lost another one. And
from vaccines? Regular
yes,
vaccines with infants?
yes.
Do you think they,
Normal childhood vaccination.
what's his name?
Joe Nicholas.
Do you think they manifested as crib death? Do you know what I mean? There'd be a crib death. And
That's-
then you just don't even know why your baby died.
This is different.
Okay,
Not a crib death, it's shock. There's a huge difference.
okay.
Crib death, they kind of go to sleep and that's it, because there's something, most of them have what's called the subluxated atlas vertebra. There's pressure on the brain and the spinal cord enough that the body shuts down. Most people don't know this, but the atlas vertebra, the atlas vertebra that holds the head is a ring with two hands to hold the head. If that, and the spinal cord goes right down through that ring. If you think of that ring on the spinal cord like a ring around a hose in your garden, and you tip the hose, you can actually shut the water flow off. That's what happens to a lot of babies with crib death, is they have a misalignment from birth. They get pulled out, they get twisted, so it's unstable. They get their head in the wrong position, it shuts down the cord and they die. That's different than what we're talking about.
Thank you.
So back to anaphylactic shock and the babies. Dr. Nicholas said, I'm done with this. I want to find out why the babies are dying. So he spent a lot of time learning what I'm going to tell you. He learned that the parents of the children were malnourished.
The parents are?
Malnourished. Why? Because they had eaten manufactured food. They had eaten had eaten plants that were raised on poor soil. They ate chickens that came from a chicken factory, and the pigs and beef from a feeder lot that just got the same kind of food all the time, and drugs. So he traced it back. Baby, parents, food from two sources, plants and animals. Trace it back. Why were the animals sick? Because they were in feedlots, or they were eating food that was not good from the farm. Why are the plants not good? Because they were raised in soil that was not that had been depleted. So when they would do a chemical analysis on the food, like a carrot. For example, I read a study about something like a carrot is a carrot, but maybe not a carrot, something like that. So carrots that came from good nutritious soil had a lot of vitamins, minerals, and enzymes in them. And the weaker the soil, the weaker the carrot. You've all bought, I know, you've purchased in the grocery store carrots that they sell them in an orange bag. That's a tip. That's okay. If they're in an orange bag, don't buy them. If you buy the ones that are loose, you can see them, you can smell them. There's a lot of nutritional value in the flavor of the food, of the produce, the flavor and the smell. So if you pick up an orange and you can't tell if it's a lemon or a grapefruit or an orange, you know, the three that are pretty close, you're not real sure, don't buy it. If you're walking down the aisle and you smell something that grabs your nose, follow your nose, and it's probably has a good odor, it probably has a high value. So that's what Dr. Nicholas found. So he said, I'm done practicing medicine. He moved to Texas, wrote a book called Please Doctor Do Something. He started an organization for farmers to teach farmers how to help maintain healthy soil. That was the bottom line. So that the plants and the animals would be more healthy and less prone to the traffic that is doing in New York. Now that's one story. I could tell you more. Deborah could tell you. You want to tell them a quick tidbit of what you told me that other day about one of the nutritional tidbits? Now she has to dig into it.
Well, I was already thinking about, you were talking about the carrot, and I was thinking about a study that I saw where spinach, if you look at spinach 50 years ago when I was born, a cup of that to get the same nutrient value from it, now you have to eat 53 cups of it.
There you go.
So, I mean, that's pretty powerful. I know I told you some good stuff the other day, but I can't think what it was.
That's fine. We're good.
Really good stuff.
The idea is,
I'm just gonna say, I notice, now we buy spinach sometimes, even organic spinach, but we grew spinach, and I noticed that the spinach from my garden is much heavier and denser.
yeah.
It's a whole different
Whole different
substance
plans.
Yeah.
than what I get at the grocery store.
And
That's my granddaughter always swore she didn't like tomatoes. And I was, when we lived in California, I had a lot of tomatoes in my garden, and I said, these are garden tomatoes, they're different, you'll like them. And now she loves garden tomatoes, but she hates store tomatoes.
Because there is a difference.
There's a big
The
difference.
taste.
Yeah.
They don't have the flavor.
So what that means to you and I is we need to supplement our food intake with supplementation. Then the question arises, so where do we get it? What do we get? Optimal Health, the company that we use, has some very, very good products. They're all natural and they're very picky. This one right here is called Complete Nutrition Plus. You could live off that.
And it's good.
It is.
And it's good.
Actually good.
And if you read the ingredients,
It's good.
okay, you'll probably all read labels. But if you read the labels and say, okay, I can buy all. No, I can't buy all this stuff.
Yeah, right.
Right?
There is no way you could buy half of this stuff if you went to Winco and spend an hour looking and picking. So what they do is they get it and put it together. Same with the up the whole food vitamin mineral. Those two together could sustain life. Now, this company just came out with this is a whole food, this is one with gummies. Now, I think they did this to try to trick kids into taking the supplements. I think it passes around, take one or two or three, whatever you want.
3 is a dosage for a day. So you
Yes.
could have a
Like
snack
one
with
for
breakfast.
each meal, kind of like.
Yeah. I told Deborah what I'm gonna do. That's a brand new product. It just came out yesterday. What I'm gonna do is continue with this one. I've taken this one for a long time, but I'm gonna alternate. Maybe take these one day and that one day, or maybe I take 2 of these and one of those, and 2 of those, one of these, so you get a variety. Because they're not identical. They're different combinations. If you look at the back, they have different things in them. And that's a good thing.
I have a question.
Yes.
So you know when sometimes we come in and you test our nitric oxide.
Yes.
Does that have anything to do with your, like, how does that relate with your nutrition and?
That's a perfect question.
Oh, good. Good.
Nitric oxide is a natural byproduct
Natural what?
byproduct
What?
from the digestion and assimilation of green food. So if I test your nitric oxide and look at the color, I have an idea right now, inexpensive. It tells me one of 2 things or both. You're not eating enough greens because it's low. Or you say, well, I ate a lot of greens. Well, maybe it's the gut that's the problem. So it tells me, the other thing is, are you having proper assimilation of the nutrient that you put into your mouth? Okay? That's what it tells me. And if it's low, then the BFF is made to help you develop the benefits that you would get from nitric oxide right now. So I don't have BFF out here, but a lot of you taking the BFF. It's very good flavor. I take the BFF every day for insurance. I like it. I had a lady from Rexburg that on her form, every time she comes to see me, she gives me a print out of what she's taking. And I thought last time it said BFF for recreational use. He likes the flavor. I'm a farmer who comes and buys 4 or 5 bottles at a time and puts them in his pocket and loves them. So,
Are they chewable?
Yes.
Yeah.
yes, you should chew.
I'm thinking if you can taste them. they
You
might be
should chew
chewable.
them.
They make my mouth break out sores.
They're not gummy like this, but they're
Oh.
chewable.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And they should be chewed rather than sucked because they can affect the mouth.
Yeah.
Okay, so with that in mind, my opinion is most of us need supplementation, some supplementation all the time. Even though we do the best we can to get the good food. Now, we're going to talk about the colon in a few minutes, but to help get the most value out of what you eat, some of the basic rules, and we talked about them in class before, is to eat slow, take 20 minutes, small amount of water, lay the utensil down, chew it up very well. But also important are the enzymes. The enzymes are like cleaning ladies. If I called the cleaner ladies up, they would send 4 or 5 to my house to clean the house. What do they call them around here?
I don't know here, but I'm thinking Molly maids.
Molly maids.
Yeah.
Okay, Molly maids. One comes in and vacuums the carpets. Another does the countertops. Another will do the window shades and the other stuff. They all do different things. Enzymes come with the food by divine design to help your body digest that food. Okay? Those enzymes are killed by heat. They're often not activated yet. Like I showed you a picture, I think last week, of a banana, a green banana. The enzymes haven't started working. And then it goes through phases. It gets more yellow, and then it gets brown spots, and it gets more brown spots that turn brown. That's all the work is done from the inside by the enzymes. Enzymes help break food down so you get the value from the food. If you're low in enzymes, you can eat perfect food too quickly. It doesn't break down. If you're tired or you overtax the digestive system, then that has a negative reaction in the body. Sugars ferment, fats turn rancid in the gut, proteins rot and putrefy. When they do, they swells up and you get uncomfortable feeling or a lot of pain in the gut. And you get 4 miles per gallon. So we could eat, all of us could eat the same food and get a different value from the food based on our digestive system. Does that make sense?
Are there foods that are natural, I mean like papaya and pineapple that help with, digestive enzymes or no?
You know, they sell papaya and sometimes other things with the idea that they have enzymes that help you. Keep in mind what he just said. The enzymes, God put the enzymes in the food.
That you're eating.
That food to help you digest that food. Do they have overlap? Yes. They can overlap into other foods that are similar in nature. So I could eat a pear that's ripe and an apple that's not ripe. And the enzyme would say, well, I don't usually do apples, but I'm in the neighborhood and I can help you out. Enzymes are alive. Think of Pac-Man. They are alive and they're very specific.
Can I speak to that for just a second?
Sure.
So oftentimes when I do the blood tests, I will recommend that people have a little bit of pineapple and or papaya, fresh or frozen, often. Okay? So that's partly to clean the blood, not necessarily to process the food. But the enzymes that are in them, because they're the highest enzyme containing foods that there are, will clean the blood.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I recommend this product, digestion. It's not number one with the company. This company made this one first because they recognized years ago that digestive issues were a big deal, and this would help solve a lot of problems by helping get more nutritional value, even out of a bad carrot. If you have a bad carrot, you want to get all you can. Then they come up with number 2, that's this one. They said they're not getting enough, so we're going to give it to them. So those 2, okay?
What was the second one? I didn't see it.
Whole food.
Oh, whole food, okay.
And a lot of kids don't like to swallow the capsules or won't. I think that's the real reason they come up with these. Okay, now we're going to go to the next topic. Colon, the large intestine. The large intestine, well, have one. The large intestine starts here, goes up, This is a corner down at the bottom on the right-hand side. It's called the cecum. The little tube coming in is the small intestine. The small intestine dumps, it's called chyme, into the large intestine, right down here. The appendix is sometimes called the oil can of the colon. Why? Because it secretes some chemicals that help move the food through the gut chemically.
Bless you.
This part of the body, in my opinion, is one of the weakest because it has to flow uphill. It then goes across over to the other side and then down and out. That's about the shape of a healthy colon. I'll pass this around. This is a picture of what they do when they do a colonoscopy. Some of you had them. They give you some stuff that cleans you out.
You have to drink it.
Then you go in and they put you to sleep and put an air hose in and blow it up a little bit, and then put a camera with a light, and they take pictures and they're looking for trouble. Okay? One of the pass that around. One of the common problems are polyps. If you find a polyp that's single, they'll usually just clip it off. It will heal. They're also looking for other kinds of problems.
Now, are polyps precancerous, or can they be cancerous, or can they cause cancer? Is it a source of cancer?
Isn't everything?
If you don't have it, if you don't have cancer, you're precancerous.
If you don't have it, you are. If you don't have cancer, you have pre-cancer.
Yeah, you have, and you're pre-diabetic, you're pre-arthritic, if you don't have it yet, you're pre. Pre means before. So they take them off. Why did they take them off? The same reason they're concerned about every other pathology. I'll pass this around. There are different kinds of pathology in the colon. Some go in like a polyp. A polyp goes in the lumen inside. I'm going to pass this around first. This is a picture of the large intestine. You don't notice that it's smooth. It has the ability to expand and contract a lot. Many inches. When you get pathologies, it doesn't expand like it could because those things bother the tissue and won't let it expand. This also has a small intestine. They have different functions. The small intestine has many little finger-like projections that they call villi, and they stick up and they help break the food down. That's where your friendly flora live. That's where the unfriendly flora live. They live in the villi.
Is this part of the absorption part of the digestion? The villi absorb your
Yes,
nutrients and things
you
like
absorb
And that's in the small
in
intestine.
the small intestine. The main purpose of the large intestine is to reabsorb minerals and water. We talked about the lymphatic system a lot. I told you that the heart, I'll back up. When we talked about the circulatory system, I told you that the heart took the best blood. Where is the best blood? Right out of the lungs. Comes right out of the lungs, goes into the heart. The heart says, I'll take the best blood. Takes 5% and the rest it sends out to the other parts of the body. The nutrition that's absorbed goes to the liver. The liver then cleans out the toxins. The liver then gets first shot at the buffet that's coming through the liver. Got it? The liver gets the best food. But it also has 300 other jobs, one of which is to take the toxin that you ate on the food, the coloring, the insecticide, whatever. It binds it up chemically, and it's called bile. The liver then secretes the bile into the gallbladder, and it's stored in the gallbladder. When you eat fat, God is really cool when He designed the body. When you eat fat, the bile is secreted from the gallbladder to help you emulsify fat. That means you break it down. So when you eat bacon, it leaves your stomach. The gallbladder secretes bile to help you break the bacon down to get the juice out of it. But some of the chemicals are still there and they're still intact and still packaged, and they want to just go right on through the colon and be pooped out that day or the next day. If they don't make it out, if you're constipated or you don't have a good bowel movement on a regular basis, the toxins pile up over here on the descending side and down at the bottom, and that's where you get most of the pathologies in the colon, because that toxin continually irritates the tissue that you see. So most colitis is down here, polyps down here, diverticuli, that's very serious. That's when the diverticuli is serious, because instead of the bubble going in, it goes out. So you have a little pocket going out, and it oftentimes gets toxins trapped, and it gets infected. It enlarges, and many times it will burst. It will break. And when it breaks, you then have bowel toxins leaking into the abdominal cavity. That's a bad problem. Okay, that's a serious, and that will kill you if they don't get it out.
Is that leaky gut? Is that the same as leaky gut?
No, leaky gut. They could be classified as leaky gut, but when you talk about leaky gut, that's more in the small intestine, where the cells in the little villi, they get impacted and they get inflamed, and the cells at the base, the basal membrane swells, and you get teeny bits of leakage through those between the cells. That's different than the diverticuli.
And does that just go into the abdominal cavity?
Yes.
The abdominal
And then what cleans it out? Lymph nodes. Remember? The vacuums.
Oh, cleans out the small intestine, you mean? Or the where
leak.
they leak?
The leaky gut.
So it goes in.
If the vacuum's working.
Yeah.
If you don't have
That's
enough
not
water, don't have enough motion, and it can't get it all.
So is that a source of infection, quote unquote?
Oh yeah, you get infection from the toxins.
So this diverticuli is on the outside,
It's a bubble on the outside, you see
but
it?
here is a bleeding one and it bleeds inside.
It will bleed both ways.
So if you don't have a gallbladder,
Okay, perfect question. The gallbladder is a storage compartment between the liver and the small intestine. When they take it out, they reconnect the tube between the liver and the small intestine. You took the pouch out, the gallbladder. By divine design, that tissue says to the brain, what about the bile that's leaking through here? And the brain says, well, you're not a gallbladder, but the body can make stem cells, and we'll try to act like one. So that that little tube then expands, so you have some modified, reduced gallbladder function.
What is fatty liver disease?
That's it for another discussion, but
Okay.
let me hit lightly on it because it does apply. Fatty liver is when the liver gets totally overloaded. It gets overtaxed and overloaded and gets backed up. Now, by divine design, God has given us a way to tell if we have a liver congestion. I like to compare it to the oil filter on your car. You probably all have your car serviced periodically, and you put it new oil and new filter. The liver is always cleaning. Sometimes it gets overloaded because of too much stuff going in. Maybe you don't have good bowel movements, so the liver gets to recycle some of the bile toxins back again. So the workers in the liver say, I've seen that before. What's it doing back here? And they say, well, the brain says, well, he didn't poop, so it might come back around again. And what happens then, you can open your mouth and look underneath your tongue. So when you put your tongue up, you see the veins that are purple. That's an indication of toxic liver. Now, when I pass it around, wicked boy. When I look underneath your tongue, I like to form an opinion of how toxic your liver is. So on a spectrum, we have it's clean, it's doing its job, it's not backed up. Then we get small, thin blue lines. Then we get blue lines that protrude. Then they get wider and they protrude more. Pretty soon they get way wide and way protruding. So then what do we do about it? I recommend coffee enema. Now coffee enema is a technique that's used at home. It's a medically approved class 1 therapy, so anybody can do it. Today I'm going to give you a handout that shows you one way to do a coffee enema to help clean the liver. Now, when you put the coffee in the bowel, it's absorbed and goes where?
Liver.
To the liver. It stimulates the liver to clean, the gallbladder to clean. And where does it go? Through the small intestine. Where else? Keeps on going.
Large.
Goes out through the colon. Goes out through the colon. It's possible for you to do a coffee enema and have gallbladder stones go in the toilet that day, because it will go all the way out. And that helps clean the liver. As a secondary benefit, the colon gets cleaner. And the cleaner your colon, the less likely you are to have those nasty pathologies.
So are both of these, are both of these bad? Because this one looks white and this one looks purple.
They're both purple.
Okay.
And it
Just
should be
different,
pink.
It's different.
different variations.
Right.
Thank you.
Ideally, when you put that thing up, I tell you, start looking at children, like under 12. Say, let me look at your tongue. And put the tongue out, it's pink, it's tight, it's moist and smooth. Put the tongue out by hand or teeth, and underneath it's smooth and no lines. Now, talk to your friends that are 60 and older. Can I look at your tongue? You go, oh, gross. Now, We have another factor, I'm gonna mention it. L1 is where the main nerves come out to go to the colon. If you have a back problem and the back is misaligned and that nerve is negatively affected, then your bowel pattern won't be ideal even if you're eating good food. Now, having said that, just like with fruit, one fruit will clean a number of organs. One vegetable will help feed a number of organs. You get one main nerve, but the body always has at least 2 or 3 or more nerves that go to the colon from both ends. The sympathetic from the head down out, and the parasympathetic that's inside. So you have a throttle and a brake to speed up and slow down. So it's not just one, it's the whole thing. But you need to know if you do the T-zone, sit on it, you do a sacral slide, you're doing therapy to that nerve tissue that goes to the bowel.
Sitting on the T-zone.
Sitting.
So we have the red one.
Either one, you can sit on it. You can sit on any of them.
It's just hard to get down and up.
Yeah.
What's the difference between putting coffee in your mouth and coffee in your other end?
Coffee in your mouth is against the word of wisdom. Coffee in your rectum is medical therapy. And the difference is it doesn't, keep in mind, we're not putting it in the main blood circulation. We're putting it in the colon, it goes to the liver, comes right back out to the bowel. It's not in the general circulation. That's the difference.
So colonoscopies are good to get?
If you have a problem, it's not a fun thing to do, but it's not painful because you're under the anesthesia. But if there's a suspected problem, it's a good thing to do to rule out a major pathology.
Okay, and how about no suspected problems, just your checkup?
Well, they have it every 10 years, so that's not too bad.
If you have one,
I don't get them. I don't believe in
I
it.
have a-
I'm asking for my husband. He has one on the 21st of November.
well, good for you.
Okay,
I had one 15 years ago,
And they said come back
no.
10 years.
5 years.
10 years. Yeah.
10 years.
When they tell you 10 years, that means everything's good.
Mhm.
Nothing to worry about. So I'm not going to discourage you because, again, if you find something, you can do more. If you have your colonoscopy and they say, oh, you've got this and that in there, then you'll be motivated to take better care of your colon.
I love it.
No, tests are good to do.
Thank you.
It's just information.
Yeah, it's good. The more you know, the better it is.
I have a comment. When I went to the doctor just recently, they have another thing that is not a colonoscopy, but it's you just do it at home yourself with, sending in a sample, and it's kind of a precursor to a colonoscopy, and it's not, they say it's not 100%,
It's not even close.
so I don't know, is that a good thing? It says if you have a problem, if it shows a problem, then you should get a colonoscopy.
Yeah, it's like a phase, it's a step one. It doesn't really, they can be specific, they can do a specific diagnosis on that kind of a test. They just say, oh, we need to look further.
So you should probably follow up.
If you have a problem, if you don't, then you still don't know for sure.
With just the sample.
Mhm.
It's like an MRI. An MRI is a lot better than just an X-ray. You see more. Okay, questions. Going out. Number 1. True or false? Multiple daily bowel movements can be a sign of a number of pathologies that are considered abnormal. True. More than 2 is significant. More than 2 is very significant. Number 2, spinal nerves exiting from the lumbar region of the spine can have a major effect on the function of the colon. True. Sometimes that's the main trigger for a bad colon, not the diet. 3, the colon can hold up to 40 pounds of toxic waste with 1 inch diameter, the size of a pencil, allowing for elimination. True. And oftentimes people have, like I saw a fellow last week that had more than 6 a day. It probably has a lot of congestion, a small opening. That's the way it has to go, because it won't expand. It won't expand and contract like it should. And that's one of the values of doing the colon, the
Coffee enema.
coffee enema on a regular basis, because when you put a bag full of water or coffee in the bowel, it expands. It helps clean it out. It helps strengthen the muscles and help clean the walls of the colon.
Should there be any discomfort at all when you put the water in?
Should there be?
I mean, is that abnormal? Is there something, too much water or not enough, or
If the
why would
colon,
it cause pain?
if the colon is healthy and clean, you won't have any pain.
Sometimes
It
you'll
will
have
feel
pain just
full.
because there's gas in there.
Yes, sometimes
So
gas,
if you have
sometimes,
like a gas pain,
sometimes you're constipated and the tissue's weak.
And sometimes all that water in there gives you that full feeling, which is not
Yeah.
comfortable.
Right.
You want to eliminate.
It's an
But that's what you're gonna
evacuation.
do, you're gonna eliminate.
What about a colonic?
Colonic is fine. But they're expensive. We used to have 2 colonic machines in the clinic and had them going all the time for people to get them started with the colon problems. But you can afford to do that ongoing. And my belief is that if you do a coffee enema regular, you probably get more good than periodic colonic.
so what is regular?
1 or 2 times a week?
The question would be, how often could you or should you do it? Now, if you have a toxic liver, then I'm going to say do it more often. If the liver and the colon are healthy, maybe once a month is adequate. If you go to a cancer therapy where they do natural care, they may do 3 or 4 a day. I treated people with cancer who were dying that would do 2 a day for a long time. I've done that myself. To me, with what I know about the value of keeping the colon and the liver clean, I do them daily. I've done them daily for how long?
Since 1978.
Oh, wow.
How's it working? I think it's working great.
Your skin looks great.
Yeah, I think it's working great. If I miss a day or 2, it's worse than not brushing my teeth. Number 5, most contemporary chronic diseases are related to recycled poisons from the colon. True.
We
Number
did
4,
4.
internalizing anger can be a significant causative factor for constipation.
Oh my goodness.
True. We said that earlier when you were asking the question. Number 7. 6. Primary purpose is the coffee enema is to clean the liver and the gallbladder, with the colon cleansing being secondary.
I have a question
You get
about
all 3, yes.
coffee enema. Your directions
Yeah.
say to insert clear water afterwards.
Yes.
Why?
You want to make sure you get out.
get the coffee out?
Yeah, and you want to get the coffee out and the residue that didn't come out in the first movement.
So it's a rinse in your clothes, you wash your clothes,
And then you rinse them.
and then you rinse it. You get the rest of the soap out.
Yeah. And see, people who don't get the same value from the coffee enema. If
It
you-
just seems like you're rinsing out the coffee. That could be doing good.
no.
It's already done what it needs to do
It's
very
done.
quickly.
Thank you.
So that brings
The
up the
next to
question,
make you.
Stimulates the liver.
how long does the coffee need to be in? If you go on YouTube and look up coffee enema, you'll probably get 15 different ways to do it. Some of them I think should be,
Outlawed.
yes, they're very wrong. Some of them will say you have to leave the coffee in 15 minutes. Well, no. The doctor I learned how to do this from was a medical doctor, the internist who had cancer. They did a study and they said when you put the coffee in with the enema, within 2.5 minutes, the gallbladder is already starting to empty. So what I tell people is put it in and then respect your body's desire to let it out. That's why I recommend you do it in the bathtub. So if you leak or you don't get out in time, it's not on the floor, on the bed, it's in the tub, you can wash it down, you can shower. So you have your bath, you put the coffee in. I like to do two things at one time. So I put my coffee in, I shave, wash my hair. About that time, my body said, okay, time to get out. I get out, and I read the good book for a few minutes. Well, good stuff in, bad stuff out.
Mm-hmm.
Then I get back in and do water. Sometimes I do 2 waters just to make sure it's clean.
Thank you.
Quick, easy.
So that one was true.
Match 7. I told you the answer. Proteins to what?
Putrefied,
Rot.
rot,
Carbohydrates,
fermented.
fats,
Go rancid.
Number 8. Soil, plants, animals, humans, in that order, are not depleted from natural nutrients and are also contaminated by pesticides, herbicides, and antibiotics. True.
True.
More so each year. Number 9. As a general rule, vegetables neutralize acids and provide building materials, while fruits, like Deborah said, are more prone to clean and provide a source of power, energy. True.
I have a question, sir, about that bathtub.
About the bathtub,
Don't have a bathtub.
buy a new home.
You have a walk-in tub?
How about a little swimming pool, just put a plastic swimming pool?
You can do your enema in the shower. If you don't mind sitting down and
Can you just do it on the commode?
what? No, you want to be laying down or sitting down. You don't try to do it with a bag and sitting on the toilet. You want to be laying down at least part of the time. Horizontal.
Even with massage?
The massage is not going to do a lot of good, but you can do that if you want.
Okay.
You can do if you do it. Start here, go around the colon.
Thank you.
We've all done it in the shower, right?
Yeah, and some people do it on the commode. It's just absolutely not ideal.
It's better than not.
Right.
It
Better
doesn't-
than not.
Can't go all the way through.
Now, 10. The cost of supplementing can be considered as
All of the,
all of the 11. Quality. Underline the word. Quality supplements are a way to acquire concentrated, easily assimilated nutrients.
True.
True. Now, I say quality because when they when the city does some sewer line work, they found all kinds of undigested pills in the sewer.
Can I tell you a story about that?
Sure.
My neighbor, he took his one-a-day vitamins every day, and before he went out to do his chores in their yard. So this day he was in a hurry, so he put them in his pocket. And he went outside, and he was picking up a bucket of water, and the pills fell in the water. Well, he thought, oh, I'm not gonna worry about that, so he did his own thing. Next day he came out, and they were still there in the same position, in the same condition as when they went in.
And sometimes, I think you told me what somebody did an X-ray of the spine,
Unfounded about it.
and we used to find them all the time, but they can read the name on it.
Oh,
Oh my
crazy.
gosh.
Not me, but
yeah.
Also, I see oftentimes when I'm checking the blood, I'll see that there's malnourishment, and people will say, but I go to Costco and I get the vitamin D and the vitamin E and the multivitamin and the, you know, all of this stuff. And
Calcium.
there's a big difference between synthetic and real. The synthetic, your body does everything it can do to just get it through and out. It doesn't use it, it doesn't recognize it. Where the real stuff, it knows what to do with and you actually use it.
thank you.
Don't get it at Costco or Walmart.
How do you feel about celery juice?
About what?
Celery juice.
I love it. But it's only one.
You're missing the fiber.
It's only one product. I have patients who hung up on celery juice. Now and then it's okay.
Thank you.
Period.
There was a phase of it going around, like
Through medical media.
for a while. You would do better to just do some greens powder, stir it in, be done with it. You'll get more variety, you'll have the fiber, you'll get more nutrition, and you won't have to clean your juicer every.
Right?
It saves money.
The product that I have is called Superfood, the green stuff. It's far, far cheaper.
Yeah.
Very convenient. I had a scoop of it this morning. I put it in my yogurt with a scoop of this. I got more nutrition in my breakfast probably than most people get all day. Now, number 12. What is needed most as a dietary supplement?
That's it.
All of that.
That's the correct answer.
All of them.
All of them. Keep in mind, they're all essential. One last thing, there's a product you can buy online on Amazon or locally. It's called Squatty Potty. It
I
helps.
love mine.
Most toilets
Patrick
are
on
13 to 14 inches high. When you this slides back around the toilet, when you have a bowel movement, doing a cafe enema, put your feet on it. It brings the knees higher than the rectum. It relaxes the gut. It lowers the chance of hemorrhoids and a lot of problems down there. If you're female, it reduces the chances of incontinence,
And
hemorrhoids,
prolapse.
all that kind of stuff. It helps your body to empty better, cleaner, and they're inexpensive. I think every bathroom should have one. And how much does it cost? $25.
About that.
How about that? And 7 inches. That's a good height. Sometimes they sell 9.
If you have a high toilet.
Yeah, and if you buy it, when you buy in your next house, make sure the toilets are low. If you know, a lot of handicapped restrooms have a high toilet. That's a very unfortunate thing because handicapped people need this more. They don't need a high stool with their legs down, but that's what they have.
So you sit on the stool with your feet on back.
Yes. Now, if you go to Yellowstone Park, you will find that they have signs in restrooms that say, don't stand on the toilet,
Right.
because the Orientals stand on the toilet and squat.
They squat.
And if you go to some of the Chinese restaurants here in town, and go to use the bathroom, you notice the toilet is seated different. It's big enough to put your feet on. The next thing you want to try standing on the toilet. Do that. Don't do it at home.
Don't
Don't
fall
do it
off.
at home.
Don't fall off.
Don't try that one.
Yeah.
You'll
I
slide
saw-
off.
I saw a video from an internist, and she said she will not go to the bathroom without her squatty potty. Because
It makes a big
it
difference.
makes a big difference.
So,
You should do that with the outhouse. You know, stand on the lid of on the outhouse.
yes, I agree. Okay, any final questions?
Thank you.
Thank you for being here and thank you for your comments. I know that sometimes we talk about things that are,
Funny.
let me say one more, are we done?